to order. First item is approval of May 5th committee minutes.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item number 2, facilities update, Mr. Todd.
Hello,
Howdy.
how are you? Good. Good. So I'll start, because where I always do with custodial. We heard Mr. Lynch mention in the last meeting that we've heard so much about a labor shortage, and we currently have 6 open custodial positions, and we're hoping to fill those soon. We're still getting the job done. The grounds guys are covering custodial positions, as you've heard me mention before. The grounds are covering custodial positions. We're getting ready for some big events out in the fields. We've got graduation, Granite State Track and Field, Relay for Life, and the fireworks in Rochester are all going to take place out here on our fields. And these are just some nice views of how green that grass is out there. The fields are looking really good. Mr. Tom Gray is our head grounds guy on the Spalding complex, and he's just doing a great job. We're having a small problem with this light pole. This is baseball left field, the walkway behind the home bleachers for the football field, and the light pole that lights up the left field. There's a hard short underground somewhere. We were hoping we could find something in a cabinet, and we can't, and it's underground somewhere. We're going to dig into this more tomorrow. Hopefully we can find a way to pull a new wire, but it may require a trench. We'll just abandon the wiring in place and cut a trench. If we do, that trench will be outside of any playing fields. We've already got it kind of mapped out where we can avoid having to tear up any of the beautiful new grass on the playing fields. We can get that trench in there and get those lights working. It isn't really going to affect any of our school events. There might be some post-7 baseball out there that we're hoping to play at night that we may not be able to accommodate depending on how fast we get this fixed. Maintenance, we're ongoing work orders. And the CTE recently retired a 5-axis mill machine, and here you can see our maintenance manager, Mr. Letourneau, negotiating that beautiful 5-axis mill machine that was retired from CTE. They replaced it with Perkins money and bought a brand new machine, computer aided, but the old hand crank one is perfect for us. This was actually donated to the school. It's got tags on it that it was belonged to Polaroid at some point. It was in a Polaroid shop, probably served many, many years there. Went to the CTE, served many, many years there, and now it's in this building, and it's going to serve many, many more years here. So we're really happy to have that equipment and to keep it going. Spalding High School Auditorium update. I have no update. We're at the same exact place. We have use of the space without the curtain or the deluge system or some of the lighting. The lighting in the deluge system have been ordered. We just can't get firm ship dates from the manufacturers. They keep providing dates. Just right now they're saying July. It's going to ship in July, but then they were saying June. They were saying May. So I have no faith that we'll ship in July. We'll find out when it's on a truck, and we'll have it, and we'll get it installed in short order after we do. Air quality improvement project, we continue to focus on pre-wiring for the communication bus at the Spalding High School and Maple Street were the first 2 targets that we were working on. And we're working to add to, this is the ESSER-funded portion of that project, hoping to add the replacement of some rooftop units at the McClellan School, which are desperately in need of replacement. You may remember we had to evacuate that building for a natural gas smell. This is that equipment. It's beyond its useful life expectancy. So it would either be a local tax burden or an ESSER grant burden, and I think we're going to be able to get it through in the ESSER grant. And we're looking at about $400,000 worth of work on that rooftop equipment, so it'd be great to get that funded at the federal level. CMMS, I've been talking to you about a computerized maintenance management system. We had started with 7 vendors, we narrowed it down to 4, and then we brought in all of the users from the district. We identified the heaviest users in the district and invited people from all different categories, custodians or teachers or administrators, to come to the table and talk about their needs for inputting work orders. And we brought those people to this room and had a presentation from 4 companies. We narrowed it down to 2, and we had second presentations from those 2 companies today, and we'll hopefully be be able to make a decision on that very soon, so exciting. Field storage building. This is already dated, this photo. If you drove by it today, we had a crew out there today that completed the asphalt shingle roof and the trim boards. One day, crew went out there. It was great just to see what a well-tuned machine they were getting that done. We're working on beefing up some of the framing inside to bring it up to the specification that the structural engineer wants. And the next piece will be electrical and siding. And we'll be taking occupancy of that building, hopefully on schedule, I hope by the end of this month. This board had authorized some spending of fiscal 22 operating funds. One of the things, we looked at $129,000, which is going to lighten the burden for next fiscal year. And one of the things that we were able to purchase is the 1-ton truck. We bid it out, purchased it and received it. It's sitting right across the hall. It's an F-350, ready to get outfitted with a plow. So just so we know, the $129,000 that we had talked about did include $16,000 for a trailer. The purpose of that trailer was to move an articulated boom lift. The articulated boom lift had been moved from our budget, so we're not going to purchase that trailer. No point in buying that trailer right now. So that $16,000 that this board had approved to spend on a trailer will not be spent. If the board wanted to, the $129,000 was approved at those line item costs. So we know the $16,000 for the trailer won't be spent. So if this committee wanted to refer to the full board, that $16,000, perhaps we could spend it on some dehumidifiers. You'll remember the mold problem that we had last summer. We purchased 8 dehumidifiers and placed them in the modular buildings, and they're doing a great job. We are, however, seeing a problem. One of the areas that we had a problem last year was the Reach building, and we didn't put dehumidifiers in the Reach building because we were hoping it was just because it was exceptionally wet last year. The Reach building had, part of that floor was mitigated with a moisture mitigation system when the construction for East Rochester was done, but the Joint Building Committee at the time decided not to do the entire floor. So the classroom areas, and some of them have rugs that are on slab, get moisture coming up, and I'm worried about a mold problem in the Reach building. Dehumidifiers are getting hard to find. I found 3 of them on the shelf that we could purchase and install in that building. We could have them here before the end of the fiscal year for about $9,500. The other thing that you may want to consider if you wanted to reallocate the $16,000 in trailer money is some landscaping for this building, the storage building we're building outside. When we first started talking about that building, I brought it over to the city to show them what we were doing and to get their ideas and recommendations. And the planning people said, it'd be really nice if we put some shrubbery on that building. So we're going to hopefully be funding shrubbery out of the next fiscal cycle, but we could include it now. We can get it and get it planted and get it in the ground before July 1st. And we're looking at about $5,900 in black American arborvitaes to line either side of that building. So just wanted to put that out there for your consideration. If you want to talk about funding that or not, that's entirely up to you, obviously. Work orders for the period of May 6th through July 2nd, completed 95 work orders, down from 105 the last reporting period. Created 81 new work orders, down from 95 last reporting period. It gives me a close ratio of 1.17 to 1, which is up from 1.1 to 1. I now have open 128 work orders from 108 last time. And that's all I have for facilities update.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Does anyone have any questions? Go ahead, Dave.
The new maintenance building, is that paved, the entrance to that?
No, sir, there's a small chunk of pavement that was existing that will stay there, and the rest of it, it's not going to be paved. It's not full, we're not in and out of there all the time. The only times there's change of sports seasons, the athletic department will be moving equipment in and out, and then around the drama department will be storing set pieces in there.
Okay, is that going to be plowed in the winter months for access?
We have not discussed that, but if we need access, we can absolutely, we can get in there with the snow thrower. Would probably be the best way for that because it's not a through shot for a plow. And I don't want to plow into the garage door, but yeah, we can certainly keep that open.
I'm just thinking ahead, I mean, just for year-round access, it's, you know.
Well, even
Sooner or later,
yeah,
we're
sure, and
gonna
even
have
for
to be in
fire,
there. Yeah.
for fire prevention needs, we wanna be able to get a piece of equipment
Right,
rolled right
so-
up to the building, so.
Right, so,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Toddy, thank you for the presentation. Can we come back to the reallocation of funding you requested? So, because we don't need the trailer, you want to reallocate money to dehumidifiers, which we are showing need for, similar to we had issues with, so I appreciate that. Is that 9,500 enough to get you what you need through the summer, or do you need additional funding beyond that?
I believe that would be enough to get me through the end of the summer, but that number's also governed by, the dehumidifiers are extremely difficult to find right now. Almost every one that I looked at is back ordered till God only knows when. We'll probably have a deluge system before I see those dehumidifiers. This is 3 dehumidifiers on the ground in New Hampshire that I can have tomorrow.
Okay, and then landscaping, I'm assuming that's just the plants, you guys would put them in, or is that?
No, that they're gonna put them, this black American arborvitaes, 6 to 7 feet tall. I'll put 3 down each side. This includes getting the plants here, getting the holes dug, setting the plants, backfilling, and then they're gonna put mulch around and create a bed. And then they're also gonna put the watering bags on them.
Yep.
So that we don't have to be constantly out there taking care of them. We'll fill the bag and hopefully get a week out of it.
Perfect. That's all I have.
Anybody else?
No.
Sandy?
Yeah, thank you. Explain to me again what building we're talking about with the humidity
So
problems?
Reach Building is at East Rochester School.
The new school?
Not the new construction, a piece of the old construction that we kept. It was the kindergarten addition when it was the
Okay.
old open concept school.
Right.
We put a kindergarten addition on the end. When we did the construction project, we demoed everything except for that kindergarten addition, which is now its own freestanding building.
Right.
It's 4 classrooms, slab on
And that's
grade.
where the moisture problem
That's
is?
where my worst moisture problem is right now, yes.
Okay, okay.
And
Thank you.
when we were doing the construction, we had some moisture problems that we mitigated, a section of floor, didn't do the whole building.
And I'm curious about what kind of a door you're gonna put on the storage building, because,
It's a 10-foot roll-up door.
okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So, any one of us will be able to lift it and pull it up, right?
There'll be probably a chain inside that will be geared up to help you with that.
Okay. I've learned a lot about doors in the last 3 years. A lot of those overheads ain't so easy to use.
No, and if you ever need help opening it, our office is right here, you can come.
Okay.
That's
Oh,
not
good to
the
know.
door,
Thank
Sandy.
you.
We'll get a
That's
crew out
great.
there.
That's great. Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Toddy? You have what, a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a
Okay.
motion. I'd like to make a motion to accept the reallocation of $16,000 as presented by Mr. Todd.
second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? It should actually be 15,400,
Is that what the total is? 15,400?
95 and 59.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so, 16,000?
You could say up to 16,000,
Yes,
so those 2 lines, and
We'll
then
say
you won't
up
have
to
to change
16,000,
the.
yeah, up to 16,000.
Okay.
You re-second that, Mr. Monk?
Yes,
So who seconded it?
I did.
Okay, you
Yes,
re-seconded
I
it?
did.
Fantastic. Okay, so up to.
Up to, good. Any discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Perfect, thank you. Next item, Chamberlain Abatement Project bid.
So you'll recall that we purchased a new serving line for the Chamberlain kitchen. This is the hot well, the cold well, and a flat section where the kids come down the line on one side with their trays. They get their food handed to them. We have that equipment in the barn. We were ready to install it, and we realized the floor under the old equipment was failing. So before we ran into doing this installation in an occupied school with a failing floor, we have to get that floor tested, given the age of the building. And we found that the mastic used under that floor was an asbestos-containing building material. So that kitchen floor has now become an abatement project. So you see the 2 areas highlighted in red. The large rectangle towards the bottom corner is the kitchen and the dish room. All of that floor would come out, be abated, a new floor would get put in. Then you see a red section in the hallway outside there, and that's some pipes above one of the main entries of the building. there's some asbestos insulation up there that we'd like to get rid of while we're setting up containment areas, while we've got people working on the building. I'd like to get that knocked out as well. So that's the scope of the project. We put this work out to bid and had 3 contractors come to a mandatory walkthrough, received 2 bids. I believe either one of these companies could do the project. Solid Bricks Construction is people building our storage building now. And the Unified Builders Group, we've never worked with them before, but they're highly recommended. So I'd like to recommend Unified Builders Group for $21,598.50. The money to pay for this, right now, there is $7,700 in current CIP. The balance of this is in the proposed budget. So in order to get the contractor moving and, keep them on tap, I'm asking the board to approve Unified Builders in the amount of $21,598.50 pending adoption of the proposed 23 budget.
I just like to say that we have been using Unified Builders at Rochester Childcare Center. We're redoing the kitchen,
Oh, okay, you're working with Heather?
dry storage. Heather is fantastic.
Oh, okay, great, yeah.
I can't say enough good about this company.
Okay.
They have been so helpful, accommodating, saved us money, really done a really nice job.
It's nice to hear.
They're great. They have a lot of women working with them too.
So, I'll make a motion to award Unified Builders the bid $21,598.50 for the asbestos abatement pending the approval of the 2023 budget.
Have a second? No. Any discussion? Yes, Shane?
When would this start?
This is
Obviously,
summer-
after the bid, would this be a summertime project?
Summertime project, we've actually already looked at all the scheduling, and we're not gonna have any children in the building this summer. We're moving everything elsewhere, so this project can take precedence with no kids around.
Sounds good.
Great. Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Motion carries. Now, 5-year plan. We don't have anything on that right now. Public comment? Anything under other?
It'll be
Yes,
fast,
Paul.
I promise.
That's all right.
Mr. Toddy,
Sir.
where are we with the ESSER funds? We had those guys doing a measure of the equipment, specifically in regards to air handlers and stuff like that.
Mr. Rucci and I attended a meeting yesterday in this room where they put together, they presented their findings. And these aren't, firm numbers on everything. This is the district-wide 60,000-foot view. And my plan is to take a minute to digest that information and bring it back to this committee and/or 5-year committee in July.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
That's it?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything under other? Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.